Hi there once again, and welcome to another Expresso mechanic tutorial. And this is episode 12 in the series Python Bytes. What I've got on the screen here is actually a component from an Expresso tutorial that I'm working on at the moment. And I've got a situation here where I've got this loop of polygons, and what I want to do is be able to select every other polygon. Well, obviously to do that is going to be a bit of a chore, and it would be nice if I could actually do it simply by doing a one click with, say, a loop selection. If I could just click once and it would actually do it. Well, it so happens that I can, because I've set something up here in this Python tag to actually do it, and I'm going to share that code with you in this tutorial. So without further ado, let's see if we can make this happen. The first thing we need to do then, we've got the extrude object here selected. It's in polygon mode. It doesn't really matter whether or not it is or not at this moment in time, but we'll leave it in polygon mode. What we then need to do is come to our tags here, programming tags, and we need to say Python. Lots of stuff in here that we don't need to worry about. We can actually delete all of this. Don't need to worry about any of that. And delete those three as well. Moving on from here, then we're ready to start setting things up. The first thing we need to say is obj for object is equal to op, and then it will be get.get object open close. So that will bring in the extrude, because op get object always refers to the object that has the Python tag. Moving on from here, we can say count is equal to obj dot get polygon count. So that gets us all of our polygons in. Okay. And if we were to, I'll tell you what, let's go to a scripting layout for this, and we'll open that there. Just clear that out. Okay. If we then print count and hit execute, we can see that we've got 6,857 polygons within this object. So quite a few polygons in this object. So that's all working as it should be. We can then create another variable which will be cell for selected, and this will equal, again, obj dot get polygon, and then on the end we need to put a capital S. So this gets any selected polygons, and it's the key to all of this really. And these are our main variables set up. The next step for us is to click on the Python tag here and add some user data. And the user data I'm going to add, I'm going to say mod val, and I'm adding this because I want to show you that this is not some kind of definitive solution to this issue, and there's some stuff that I want you to see here. So the interface we'll say is a float slider. The actual step will be real, or the unit, I beg your pardon, will be real. The step, we'll say 1, and we'll start it at 2 and make it a maximum. I'm going to say 100. It's a bit ridiculous, really, a bit over the top, but we'll leave that as it is. And we'll leave the default value at 2. That's all very good. So we can hit OK, and then we've got some user data in, and we've got a mod value. So back to our code, we can then say for I in range count. So we want to sequence through every polygon within this object. We can then say if I, and it will be %sign for modulo, and then we'll drag in this mod value here and say op equal to 0. Okay. So whatever our modulo value is, so if I modulo 2 in this case is 0, then we're going to do something down here. And what we're going to do down here, if we just hit return. If we say cell dot deselect brackets I, that's as much as we need to say in here, well, at least for now. So we've got a mod value of 2 here. Now if I select my ring selection tool, I mean I can do it with the standard selection actually, but if I do my ring selection tool and I click on here, we get, oh, it doesn't select anything. Now that's a bit weird, isn't it? Well, the reason for that is because mod 2 isn't going to work in this situation. We need to say mod 4, and if we click now, we find that it works. Okay, let's just open the structure manager and take a look at what's going on and see if it gives us any clues. Now we need to be in polygons, and we are, so we're in polygon mode. Let's just scroll through and see what we're getting here. Let's just grab a hold of that, actually speed the process up a bit. Aha, now we're getting something interesting, aren't we? Because we've actually got an interval of 4 polygons here as opposed to 2, and that's why it didn't work, because these inner polygons are also part of the loop effectively that's being looked at, which is a bit odd, but that's the way it tends to work. I don't fully understand actually the way the selections work within Cinema 4D. It does seem to be a little bit esoteric, and I don't fully understand it, as I say. So this is why, as much as anything, this is not a definitive solution, because there's still a lot of stuff here that I'm not quite sure about. But this has got me out of a hole for what I'm doing here. It works very well for what I need it to do. But let's just try something on the inner ring here. If we select this, again, we're not getting it right because it's just not working correctly. Now, why would that be? There's something a bit strange going on there, isn't there? Well, there's a way that we can fix it. What we need to do is a little bit more work with our user data. So if we click on here again and we say add user data, our second data here, we can say +1, that's what we'll call it, and it simply needs to be a Boolean. So it's going to be a checkbox. Hit OK, and now we've got +1 here. So in our if statement here, we need to put another if. So we need to say if, and then bring in +1. And we can just say if op user data 2 is equal to 1. So if it's true, we can then say cell dot deselect brackets, and it will be I +1. And then all we need to do to finish off is say else, and then indent this. And now we can check this box. And what we'll do, I'll just click off that. If we then check this box and click these now, we find that we do select every other one. So it's sorted out a problem for us that exists on the inside. If you click this off, if we then select those, you'll see you've still got the same problem. If we do it in here, we've still got the same problem. But with this checkbox, we can take away that problem. We can select those, no worries at all, select those. And again, if we just zoom a little closer, we can see that we've selected every other one there. It's strange. I don't fully understand, as I say, the way the selections work in Cinema 4D. But this is a reasonable solution to this problem. So, you know, I think it was worth sharing with you, and hopefully it's going to be of use to you. But one thing I would say, I think what we should all do here, I mean, this functionality is clearly very, very useful. It's something that should, I think, be part of the loop selection tool. There should be a checkbox down here that says select every nth polygon, and a float box or an integer box where you can just say I want to select every second polygon, every third polygon, fourth polygon, etc. That would be great functionality to be added to this, and I don't really understand why it hasn't been done actually. I know there used to be a plugin that you could buy to do this kind of thing, but should we really be buying plugins to do this? It really ought to be standard feature. I mean, if I can get this far with just a handful of lines of code, I know Maxon can do this, and that they can perfect this and make it work in any way that it needs to work. So, you know, I think we should be going to Maxon's website and suggesting this functionality. If we did that en masse, You know, who knows? They might just listen to us and put it in. And I think it would be great if they did. But anyway, that about wraps this tutorial up, because that's what I wanted to show you. So I'm really hoping that you find these few lines of code are useful to you and that you can actually use them to get yourselves out of a hole every now and again. But as I say, do be aware that it isn't absolutely definitive. There are limits to it and it's far from perfect. I mean, if you, for example, it's actually one thing I probably should show you before I finish this off. I mean, this is 4. If we make it 18, just as a ridiculous number. Let's see if it will work. It'll probably do something around here. Now, you can see that it's far from perfect, because what it's doing is selecting a group of polygons and leaving a gap. I mean, 18 is perhaps a bit of a big number. If we take that down to, say, 8 and then click again, you can see that it's pretty obvious it still isn't working correctly. So it's far from a definitive solution to any of this. But what you may find is it's useful for doing what I'm doing, selecting every other polygon. It's great for that. But I think if you go much sort of above this and try and go mad with it, it's not going to give you the result that you want. So do be aware of that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. So I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and it's been of use to you. And if it has, then please like the video. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and of course, ring the bell. And wherever you happen to be on social media, then please share this video, because all this good stuff helps keep the channel moving in the right direction. But anyway, for now, that just about wraps this up. So I'll see you very soon on the next tutorial.